Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, Friday's bounce from the lows in the markets was short-lived as the Indian markets again slipped on Monday after a choppy session. And that's despite two of the heavyweights really ending the day with healthy gains, namely HDFC Bank and also Reliance Industries. Remember, sharp downward reaction to where earnings are disappointing is emerging as a major hurdle for the markets. Remember, stocks like Tata Consumer Products were exerting pressure yesterday. The stock was down 10% on an intraday level after disappointing earnings. And it seems that we are currently in a market where zero margin for error is being seen. Even the slightest earnings missed are being punished by the street as well. Not just that, the broader markets also underperformed the benchmarks by a wide margin in yesterday's trading session as well. Of course, the FII sell-off continues to be, exaggerating when we look at the kind of sell-off that we've seen for the 16th session in yesterday's trading session. You've seen 2262 odd crore rupees worth of stocks being sold off by the FIIs even today. That has taken the entire FII sell-off in the month of October to over 80,000 crore rupees, the highest in a month that we have seen. And this is something that is definitely denting the sentiments. Despite that, the domestic institutional investors bought the stocks worth about 3,225 odd crore rupees to not just mitigate but also poured in more money in the Indian equities on a day like yesterday. It remains to be seen how the earnings reactions comes through today, and of course all eyes will also be on Hyundai listing. Good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. There is absolutely no other way to put it except for the fact that there are red warning signals all across the market, locally on Dalal Street as also on Wall Street. And this is a time to be very, very cautious on the long side. In fact, this is a time when a lot of breakdowns are happening, a lot of accidents are seen on Dalal Street, and they all point to selling pressure that's unrelenting, and it's the bulls that are on the back foot completely. Let's look at some very interesting data. The US presidential elections are nearing, and a lot of uncertainty is prompting dangerous signals to come in from Wall Street. You've seen a bit of profit booking from record highs on major indices as far as Wall Street is concerned, and that in turn has stoked, I use the word stoked, US 10-year bond yield, which is now at 4.188%. This is the highest since July 25th, which makes it a 4-month high, and more importantly, it is now above its 200 DMA. Ditto for the dollar index, now at 103.97, up 0.5% higher. These are two warning signals that have gone across the world, and they are being taken very, very seriously by foreign institutional investors that are pulling away money. Sakshi mentioned that foreigners sold just 2,200 crores yesterday, and DIIs bought 1,000 crores more. But why is the Nifty in so much of pain? Why do you see a 1.5 percentage point cut in the mid cap index? Why do you see a 1.3 percentage cut in small cap index? That's mainly because a lot of now profit booking is happening from investors and ultra HNIs who see these warning signs, who see this danger that is being built up into the market. Let's look at the Nifty now. The daily chart of the Nifty is right there in front of you, 24,780. This is what the index shut shop, down 72 points, and this is despite Reliance and HDFC Bank. Both of them are the two highest weighted counters in the Nifty, closing in the green. Now, what is being done by large institutional investors and large traders? What they are showing you is that these two stocks will be used as pivots to keep the Nifty above a certain level, and they will continue to thrash down all underperformers, all valuation highs that we have seen, and that is what is happening. Look at Tata Consumers. When was the last time you saw a 10 percentage point cut after an earnings that were mildly negative or underperforming? Look at Kotak, look at Axis Bank. All of them have been thrashed despite decent numbers. They are no outperformers, but even decent numbers are getting sold to in the market, and that points to an excessive selling force. Look at the option side of the market. You have a very high selling pressure that is coming in at 25,000, 24,900. This is where very heavy call writing is happening, and that is suppressing the Nifty lower. In turn, you were supposed to have a strong support at 24,700, 600, 500. But put writers are vacating that area, which means that the support for bulls is getting weaker and weaker. And in all this scenario, ladies and gentlemen, the safest haven, gold, is hitting record highs. So with this background in mind, one has to be very cautious on the long side. This is an intense week as far as earnings are concerned. 9 F&O stocks, including one Bajaj Finance from Nifty, will be declaring their earnings today. Among the major ones are Canfin Homes, Coforge, Persistent, Zomato and Paytm. Please keep these things on your radar. As also in the secondary markets, Mazgaon's board will meet to discuss a stock split and an interim dividend. There is also the FinNifty's weekly expiry on Tuesday, and more importantly, the mega event is Hyundai's listing of its offer for sale of 27,270 crore rupees. This is the largest listing ever in India. The IPO was sold at 1960 crore rupees. Very tepid response because none of the money was being used in India. Everything has been taken back to Korea. 2.37% times this IPO was oversubscribed, and my understanding is that you will see a positive listing because there was no retail participation, and therefore everything will be held by institutional investors and they are not going to sell it at a loss. It essentially means that you will see a mild dip at the listing point and then probably a nice uptick. You have two major brokerages, Nomura and Macquarie, coming up with a positive target on Hyundai, and let's see how it happens. All in all, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to test the 100-day moving average on the Nifty. It's time to be cautious. It is time to look sensibly at your portfolio and maybe book some profit, and of course wait for better prices to emerge. Sakshi, any reasons that you could find out why Wall Street is in such terrible pain?
Yes, Shail, we have been seeing consistent record highs and relentless highs on the Wall Street for far too long, and some profit booking could definitely be seen on the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 overnight. However, the Nasdaq definitely managed to pull up even in that choppy session that we saw. So the Wall Street ended mixed. US equities have taken a breather, but the Nasdaq for sure inched higher on the back of tech shares moving up in trade, especially Nvidia, again up 4%, hit a record high in anticipation of strong earnings from the big tech firms as well. So that has continued to keep the mood buoyant as well. When we look at the Asian indices, they opened a little tad bit lower side in the early trading session, tracking the mixed session on the Wall Street as well. We've seen Australia's ASX 200 fall by about 1.5% in the early trading session. Nikkei traded about 1.4% down. Kospi down by about 0.9%. We've also seen Hang Seng and China, however, inch up higher in trade. So a mixed opening from the Asian markets. The GIFT Nifty is indicating an opening with a flat with a positive bias. 24,814 is what is being indicative of as far as the benchmark indices opening will be concerned. I've already highlighted the FII sell-off and the DII purchase. Apart from this, keep an eye out on all the earnings. Let's look at this whole long list. Bajaj Housing Finance in Q2 FY25 on a year-on-year reported NII improvement of 13% to 713 crores. Revenue jumped up 26% at 2,410 crores. Net profit improved by 21% at 546 crore rupees as well. So good set of numbers in line with the expectations largely. City Union Bank in Q2 again on a year-on-year basis reported a profit improvement of 1.4% at 285 crores, and this is in line with the estimates. NII was up by 8% at 582 odd crore rupees. Gross NPA came in at 3.54%, tad lower than last quarter's 3.88%, again a positive. And even on the net basis, we've seen slight improvement on the net asset front, 1.62% versus 1.8% in the previous quarter, again positive. When we look at 361 WAM, remember the stock has been an outperformer within the broking houses space again. In Q2 consolidated YOY numbers, the total income is up by 43% for the company at 890 crores. Net profit has improved by 32% at 245 odd crore rupees. Again, largely in line with the estimates that the street had. Union Bank of India, on a standalone YOY basis in Q2, reported an NII which was down by 0.9% at 9,047 crores. The profit, however, improved 34% at 4,720 crores. Gross NPA, slight improvement on that front, 4.36% sequentially now, down from 4.54%, and net NPA, slightly up from the last quarter at 0.98% versus 0.90%. Science DLM consolidated YOY numbers show revenue improved by 33.4% at 389 crores. EBITDA improved by 34% at 31.6 crores. Margins came in absolutely steady at 8.1%. And the net profit improved by 5% odd. HFCL, again, we have been tracking this stock right from the time the telecom buzz started. Consolidated YOY numbers show revenue was down 1.6% at 1,094 crores. EBITDA, however, improved nearly 20%. We've seen the margins also improve by 257 basis points to 14.53%. And the net profit was up by 4.3% as well for the company, and it almost came in at 73 crores. Bansali Engineering, another one, on a consolidated YOY numbers show that revenue uptake of 16.8% to 367 crores was seen. However, the EBITDA margin came down lower, 376 basis points to 14.55%, and even the net profit came down by 4%. Balu Forge, this precision engineering firm, has reported a profit that's jumped twofold at 48 crores in the September quarter, and we've also seen the EBITDA during the quarter surge by 116%. So good set of numbers coming in from this one as well. So those are some of the earnings that I'm looking at, Shail.
Ladies and gentlemen, 8:47. We will shortly be joined by Mr. Dharmesh Kant, Head of Equity Research at Cholamandalam Securities. There are many other warning signs and signals that are coming in from the equity market, and all of them need to be kept in mind. Dharmesh ji is here. Let's get his views in. Namaste Dharmesh ji, a very warm welcome to you, sir. A red letter day for Indian equity markets. Hyundai will be listed. What are your initial thoughts? The valuations that are coming in are at par with Maruti, at about 1.67 lakh crores as the listing quote in terms of market capitalization. What would you suggest investors to do?
Yeah, Namaste Salji, good morning Sakshi, and good morning all to our viewers. Listing is expected to be muted because we have seen the retail participation was not there. It was only the institutional investors who bailed out Hyundai. And the point to be noted here is, though everything is at par, I mean, it's all apple to apple kind of a comparison out there with the Maruti. The only differentiating factor is the EV vehicle, the launch of the EV Creta, and which the management has been talking about. And again, the management sounded very optimistic of gaining the market share, which they have lost in recent couple of years just because through the EV vehicle. My own sense is let it cool off for a few days. I mean, 1 week, 2 week, give it a time. And if it's available, say 5% to 10% below the listing price, then it becomes a bargain deal for a long-term investment perspective. For a year or so, if you have a knowledge, one should be adding into the portfolio. Anyways, this allocation has to come, Shalji, because all the fund managers and everybody, when the allocation is there on the PV vehicle, Maruti will get his share of allocation, and same will happen with the HNI DEX and the other PMS portfolio managers. So I am expecting that to happen soon, but not at current levels, maybe after some cool off.
Another stock that I wanted your view on is Bajaj Housing Finance. Here, after the listing the first time, we've seen the earnings come out. Brokerage houses have actually given a reduced rating with target prices of about 110 odd levels. They believe, although in the second quarter, healthy PAT was driven by income from assignment and low credit costs, they also expect the EPS growth could slow down due to the lower AUM growth, NIM pressure, and normalized credit costs as well. And brokerage houses are also cutting the EPS estimates for this one. What is your own sense on Bajaj Housing right now?
Yes, actually, I mean, we have discussed it several times earlier as well, because Q2 was expected to be a concern on the asset quality front, and that is what has been reflected with most of the BFSI which have reported the number, including the banks. And Bajaj Housing Finance, the numbers I mean, external numbers per se good. I mean, there was good profitability growth, AUM growth, everything was fine. The only concern was the reduction in the NIMs. At the same time, slippage in the asset quality, and that is what we are seeing in most of the banking and NBFC space when they are reporting the number. As a housing space in the affordable segment, I think this run rate of growth on the advances will continue the way it is. Only area of concern would be the asset quality, and there's some marginal, re-rating and de-rating may happen. Going forward, I do think this quarter, Q3 would be a difficult one for BFSI. Q4 onwards, depending upon how the NIMs and asset quality, pans out, things will stabilize. Only one point I would like to highlight here is in all the projections, everybody discounted at first half would be muted half for the earnings perspective. Second half onwards, things will pick up. What they missed was the change scenario of the inflation. Right now, the commodity prices have gone up because of the various stimulus measures being pumped in by other countries. And that is a concern where, rebalancing of earnings will happen.
Right. Uh, Dharmeshji, what are you hearing from your peer group? What is wrong in the market as far as second quarter earnings are concerned? Hardly a number has come that will gladden the heart of an equity strategist and might prompt buying. On the reverse side, we have seen sentiment being taken out to the cleaners, just a mild dip in earnings from expectations, and you see the stock being washed away. Look at Kotak, look at Axis, look at Tata Consumer, Nestle, Havells, Bajaj Auto. Of course, they have some issues, but very, very, how should I say, clinical selling hitting markets. What could be the reason?
Shelly, I mean, 3 months back, I was a loner when I used to say that Q2 earnings will also be a matter of concern, as has been the Q1 earnings. And now I have company, my peer group have joined me in saying so. The only difference, and the view has not changed. I mean, we all are bullish on the overall macros and the economic fundamentals of the country. The only differentiating factor which has come, the expectation was that from Q3, Q4 onwards, things will start picking up, which is now a concern seeing how the commodity inflation has gone up in the international market. So all these companies who have reported the numbers, be it Havels, Polycab, all the automobiles, they have cited that inflation has gone up and that is hurting their margins. At the same time, this is not likely to cool off soon, and the rate cut scenario is now ruled out for short term. So it's a double impact. Consumers, they are not getting a benefit of lower interest rate. At the same time, companies are being hit because of the higher commodity prices. And the third factor is it's a cyclical, downturn for some pause in the economy because there are few sectors who goes in a run of 1 year, 2 year kind of a cycles. Automobile is one that space. So there, the adjustment in the EPS limits is undergoing a fast change. So earlier it was not there, now it's happening, and because of that, some minor valuation correction type of thing is happening, which is very good for the market. It's very healthy for the market. And again, Shelly, I would repeat, this is the time for people who missed the bus earlier to get into their cherry picking mode right now. Just wait for this Diwali thing to be over because one breather rally can be there. And after that, if there is a correction, one should be buying that out. The levels would be, I mean, I have already said earlier as well, I am expecting Nifty to cool off to say 23,000 to 23,500 levels. There it becomes a steep.
Okay, 23,000, 23,500. We'll keep an eye out on those levels too. Further, about 1,000 points lower in trade and more. Dharmeshji, how are you assessing the impact of this FII exodus of sorts, the highest ever monthly sell-off so far in history? We've also overseeded the sell-off that was seen in COVID times. And how are you assessing the impact could be? Do you expect this to continue going forward? By when does it become a red alert?
See, Sakshi, I mean, if you look from FII's lens, so the total investment into Indian equity is around, say, 15, 16% of the market cap. And with this kind of selling, they have not even exited 1% of what they have invested into the country. So they have a different, the entire globe is their playing field, and whenever they see opportunity, because look at China, what they did, 30% kind of a return in a 1 month time frame. So that's a huge return for them. They make such kind of a return over 3 to 4 years kind of a period. I don't see a red flag happening out there. Whatever FIs are selling, that has been, more than bought by the DIS. The only concern why, because of which this market is lower is the HNI segment. Even they have come into the selling mode. If you look at it, yesterday's data, it was clearly the DIs are bought quite higher than what FIs sold, but still the market was down. So that segment is taking its time, and I think around say mid-December onwards, they should come back into the system with their cherry picking. And just to answer your question, just sole FI selling is no red flag for Indian equities. Going by the way, we are seeing the queries which are unfolding and coming our way. So huge liquidity is still sitting on the sidelines. But this time they are mindful of the fact that investments has to be done at the right price.
Okay. 8:56, ladies and gentlemen, 4 minutes to market open. Uh, this is the festive season. Dharmeshji, we are a couple of days away from Diwali. How do you see, quality stocks as far as good research picks are concerned? Anything that has caught your eye? Maybe Bajaj Auto. It's corrected from 12,500 to 10,000, and the management is going to town saying that we should be at 20,000. Maybe Bajaj Auto, or maybe anything that catches your fancy?
Yeah, Shali, I mean, this kind of a contradictory commentary coming in a space of say 20 days, 25 days from the management itself is not, conducive for the market, because once they are announcing the numbers, they are saying the numbers are going to be further bad, it's bad for the industry. And then suddenly after 20 days, when the stock price is corrected, they come up and say that no, things are hunky-dory and things will improve from here. So there should be some consistency in the, guidance which you guys are giving, because you guys are the ones who are running the business. But yeah, there are many stocks and companies. I mean, for that matter, Reliance Industries look quite attractive to me at current levels. Tata Motors look exceedingly attractive at the present level. So there are companies like Tata Motors, Reliance Industries, even Bajaj Auto for that matter. But I don't know whether it will just give you a return for this Diwali gift itself, or it's a Diwali gift for the next summer. So that is where the judgment lies. To my sense, if you are waiting for the next Diwali gift, definitely it's a very good time to invest in these blue chip companies.
Okay. Right. Let's also welcome Kunal V. Parar, Vice President Technical Research at Choice Equity Broking, who's now joining in. Warm welcome to you, Kunal. Very good morning to you, and good to have you with us again today. We've been discussing the macros and the fundamentals with Dharmesh ji, but good to be starting the day with you with respect to the levels that you expect for the Nifty Bank, and also in any case, any stocks that are on your radar on the long or the short side.
Well, good morning to all. And if we talk about market, no doubt during yesterday's market, Nifty fell by 73 points, reflecting a minor decline of 0.29%. However, Nifty has a strong support of its 100 days moving average, and that stands at 24,526. Last time we talked about 24,700, but Nifty didn't give a close below this level, so we can say this level is still intact. So we can expect some kind of bounce back in the index itself with a strong support of 24,500. Upper side, the first target that we can see is at 25,200, and more above it, 25,400 would be there. Now, this is a positional view that we are looking after. And if we talk about stock specific, then two stocks are there in which I have buy comparison. First is Exchange Paint, but obviously Diwali is there. So we can see some magnetic momentum in this counter. Right now, counter is trading at 3,049. One can keep SL at 2,950 with a full target of 3,125 to 3,250. And second is Aegis Logistic, counter gave a close at 744. One can go for long with strict SL of 700 for an upside momentum up to the level of 778 to 835.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, the pre-open is upon us. A slightly negative, but a very volatile session ahead for us. 50 points lower on the Nifty already. What is pulling the index down? ICICI Bank 19 rupees lower. Remember, Bajaj Finance has its earnings today. 2 rupees higher, 67.82. What is Axis Bank doing? 2% higher. This is a good sign. 12.14 as far as Axis Bank is concerned. Let's look at HDFC Bank and let's look at Reliance. These two saved the day for the market yesterday. Mildly in the green, HDFC Bank 1728. Reliance at the moment is 10 rupees higher. So the plan continues by intelligent and how should I say institutional players to keep HDFC Bank and Reliance afloat and to give this sign of all is well in the market, and then maybe continue to take it to the cleaners. Hindustan Unilever down 16 rupees, ITC down half a rupee. Let's look at the broader market and find out how Mazgaon Dock is behaving. Very strong set of numbers by City Union Bank, 10% higher, 165. India Mart, after yesterday's thrashing of 17% on mildly negative numbers, is showing signs of flattening out, 1% higher, 25.28. There is in the FNO space, in terms of gainers, a strong show coming in by Tata Chemicals, 4.3% higher, 12.39. RBL Bank, after yesterday's thrashing, 2% higher. Mannapuram, nice, 2% higher. This is showing signs of consolidation, 149.85. And I would just like to see what Mazgaon Dock is doing ahead of its crucial board meeting to discuss the stock split ratio, 0.5% higher, 46.89. Nothing much to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. The Nifty is in the green, 16 rupees higher, 24,800 as far as markets are concerned. Kunal, to you, a view on Axis Bank and maybe Kotak as well.
Well, if we talk about Axis Bank, no doubt yesterday's stock formed shooting star candlesticks with strong resistance of which 100 days MA, but right now in pre-opening it is showing some kind of strength as well. So yes, if stock sustain above 1205, then further upside momentum would be there up to the level of 1280. But till that, wait and watch. If stock doesn't sustain above this 1205, then we may see some sort of correction in the counter up to the level of 1150. And if we talk about Kotak Bank, right now, yesterday's stock gave a close of 1789, and right now stock is trading at 1794 in pre-opening. But I would say please wait and watch for this counter to get neutralize yesterday's volatility. So for the Kotak Bank, it's like wait and watch. For Axis Bank, if sustain above its 100 days, then one can go full on.
Let's stay with the banking space and get Dharmeshji into the conversation. Dharmeshji, yesterday sharp momentum in HDFC Bank coming in. It was the top gainer on the index as well. How are you really looking at the stock today? It's about flat at 2017-27. Would you think that this is the best time to accumulate HDFC Bank?
Not really, Sakshi. I think this bank is undergoing quite a change. And if you look at the numbers, I mean, 5-7% kind of a profit growth is not gels with the HDFC Bank quite well. I understand the synergies which they are trying to create after the merger has happened. But the point to be noted here is the kind of deposit growth which they have embarking on. At the same time, they cannot do the same pace of credit growth. It will eventually increase their liability part, and the NIMs will compress. If not today, then maybe next quarter and thereafter. And then again, those numbers will look to this market as a howler. So that is how I'm seeing it. It's more of just a strategic, shift. Some trading bets are being put on to HDFC Bank because relatively, when compared to say Kotak Bank, it looks quite attractive, the same number. So I have my own doubts regarding it as a wealth creator, the way it has done for the last 25 years. Will it continue to do for the next 2, 3 years? I have my doubts. So we have not been recommending this bank to our clients. So rather, I would prefer more of our access on an ICC bank if I have to take a position.
Dharmeshji, where in this market will you start seeing value in the auto space? Look at Tata Motors, 1150, and now almost 900 for you as far as prices are concerned. Where else is there value in this kind of a market?
Shelly, I mean, Tata Motors and M&M, these are the two companies where there is still value in the long term. And automobile is going through a cyclical consolidation phase. So I think next 2 quarters would be difficult on the numbers front as far as volumes are concerned, sales are concerned, they will find it difficult. But Tata Motors will continue to do well because the larger economies which it caters to through the JLR segment, that has been seeing rate cuts and the economy is seeing some momentum out there, be it Europe, US or China. So 75% of its earning comes from there. And then the further, demerger of its businesses is there. Our SOTP based valuation is around 1400. So a huge upside looks likely on the card, but you have to be patient and be invested for a year also. Mahindra & Mahindra has its own verticals playing out. Even the new launch of the Thar vehicle is doing very well, and somehow they always get it right on the SUV part of the segment. Tractor has seen some downturn for the last 6, 7 months, but this time monsoons were good. And after this season crop are out by the end of November, the tractor segment will again start showing a pickup. So these are the two companies which we are liking. Other than that, the others look fairly valued to a slightly highly priced, and we see either consolidation happening or some profit taking happening out there.
Okay, got it. Let's get in back with Kunal right now and help us understand, Kunal, in the auto space particularly, are you looking at any bounces that could be coming in? Yesterday it was Bajaj Auto that came back after the strong thrashing last week, about 4 odd percent. Do you see continuation of momentum in the auto space?
Well, we can see some kind of bounce back, particularly in the auto counters, because if you talk about all the auto stocks like Bajaj Auto, Hero MotoCorp, Maruti, even Tata Motors and M&M, they all are trading with strong support of its previous bottom. So we can see yes, bounce back would be there, and the counters and counters that which I look very attractive is the Hero MotoCorp right now. Hero MotoCorp is trading. Right now, Hero MotoCorp is trading somewhere around 5,263. In yesterday's trading session, its form hammer candlestick formation also took the support of its previous bottom. So yes, bounce back would be there with strict SL of 5,070. Upper side first target that we can see is 5,400, and moreover with 5,622 would be there.
Right. When we look,
908, ladies and gentlemen, let's just
yes.
take a detour into the market and see some other prices that are now ready for pre-open. The Bank Nifty is trying to open 108 points higher. Within the PSU space, you have Mazgaon Dock and Garden Reach in decent green, 2.85% higher on Garden Reach, 1815. BEML 1% higher, 4080. HAL half a percent higher, 4547. From the prices that I read out, you must understand that possibly the worst is behind after the 6 month sell off on defense. Whether that is good or bad, only time will tell. But look at this, that in a sea of how should I say, very negative sentiment, there are defense counters and many of them which are now showing signs of strength. Hindustan Zinc 0.2% higher, 507. These needs mentioned because this is India's proxy for rising silver prices. Dharmeshji, your view on Hindustan Zinc?
A positive view. I mean, valuation-wise, there is a lot of comfort. And silver, as far as Hindustan Zinc is concerned, they have still not, mined their reserves to a great extent. So huge reserves are lying for the silver for this company. And I think the issues regarding the Vedanta and the government of India about the stake is what is holding it back. Otherwise, it would have been re-rated significantly. So it's a portfolio buy. Keep on investing in it and keep it for some time. So when the issues gets resolved, you will see a actual valuation coming out. So to my mind, it's even a double from here if one is willing to be patient and hold it for a long time.
Okay, let's shift focus to the cement space, especially let's pull up two stocks, Ambuja Cements and Orient Cement, to see how they are reacting. I think Ambuja Cement is still soft about a half odd percent, 569 odd levels. Orient Cement, let's pull up that one too to see how that has reacted. I'm going to be talking about this news flash that's coming in, flattish with a positive bias. Ambuja Cement, this is a news flash from the wires, has seemingly bought 37.9% stake in Orient Cement, and at the rate of 395.4 rupees per share is what this acquisition has really taken place at. This is the news flash that has just come in. Some more details are expected to follow soon. But Dharmesh ji, cement space has largely stayed out of the kind of move and the momentum that we have seen in the recent market. Consolidation news now coming back to the fore. Your own sense of how would you look at the entire space and some of these stocks that are in news now today?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to generate gains out of this, the companies which are in the news flows and takeover candidates are the ones where you will get a maximum traction. And that's a probability game. It's a matter of chance when it will happen. But as far as the entire cement space is concerned, I see it's more of a volume game from here on. You won't be having a pricing power with a lot of capacities coming in. At the same time, the demand has not picked up to the way the capacities are coming in. And if you want to stay invested, so around corrections, only two top players you should be buying. One is Ambuja Cements and the other is Ultratech. But meaningful gain will come from the takeover candidates, which are now very few are left. Two, three companies are only in the fray. I would not be commenting on those companies, but it's more of that game. So cement and paints, these two sectors, I think, is done and dusted for 1 2 years. So not meaningful price traction we can see in both these sectors.
9:12, ladies and gentlemen, and the trend of buying out smaller players in this painful industry continues. Cement is going through a terrible time, little or no volume growth. Prices are not being increased. Any rollback in any higher prices are being rolled back in the sector, and of course, aggressive expansion is taking place, both brownfield and greenfield, by the two largest players, Ambuja Cement and Ultratech Cement, and the buyout rush continues. Orient Cement was one of those very good mid-cap cement players, which was doing pretty well at 395. This is obviously a record high as far as the stock is concerned, and this will also be followed by an open offer at equal price. The market capitalization is 7,200 crores for Orient Cement. Revenue is 3,000 crores, and of course, the promoter ownership is at about 38%, if I'm not wrong. This is a company owned by the CK Birla Group. Just allow me one moment and let you know. Yes, okay. Central India Industries and Shekhawati Investments, of course, it's a Birla company. And mutual funds like Quant Mutual Fund hold 3% stake. Nippon India Life Trustees hold 2.5, and Birla Institute of Technology and Science owns 1.7% stake. So this is what is happening, ladies and gentlemen. Kunal, a very quick view on Orient Cement. Any view beyond 395?
Well, right now stock is trading at 353 in the pre-opening, and yesterday's trading session on an early start on early chart stock gave a breakout of its flag formation. So yes, we can see some good upside momentum in the counter. More about it, we can see 395 to 420 in the Orient Cement. Right now it is opening at 378. So if you have a stock in your portfolio, please hold this. We can see good upside momentum in the counter.
Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the opening prices are in front of us. The Nifty is down 10 points, Bank Nifty down 100 points. The Nifty IT index, please keep this one in mind. This is now at 50-day EMA. How it will perform from now on will be of critical importance. Yesterday it got really heavy selling into the market. Let's look at the small cap and the mid cap index. Those are the two that I am tracking. Small cap index is down 0.33%. The mid cap index so far in the green, 0.2% higher. Advanced decline is equal, 962 shares in the green, 938 in the red. Let's look at stock performers. Reliance, 2 rupees 60 higher, 2741. How about Bajaj Finance? This is the earnings boy today, 24 rupees lower, 6756. How about Reliance in the green, 5 rupees 20 higher, 2743. HDFC Bank flat, 1725.85. How about Kotak? Kotak now down again 14, 1774. How about Axis Bank? Axis Bank so far is flat, 2 rupees 40 lower at 1187. Very quickly into the top gainers. City Union Bank taking it away. Very strong earnings, 8% higher, 163. You have India Mart, 2.2% higher, 2567. Let's look at most active. Okay, this is looking good, but this will be sold into. Kunal, a view on City Union Bank very quickly, and of course anything else that catches my fancy. Maruti opening in the green ahead of Hyundai's listing, but not much of a gain. In terms of top gainers, let's look at the list again. You have Ipca Labs 0.7% higher, Ambuja Cement 0.9% higher. Let's look at how Orient Cement has opened. That will give you an idea about the space that the mid-cap sector is going in. Orient Cement is, ladies and gentlemen, 2.65 higher, 361. Heidelberg, another target, 2% higher. Sagar Cement, 1.8% higher. Coming to you, Kunal, a view very quickly on City Union Bank and of course Orient Cement.
Well, right now stock is trading at 165. I think it hits upper circuit, and stock is sustaining above its 100 days moving average. So we can see further upside momentum in the counter up to the level of 171 to 175. But I'm not recommending to go for fresh long position because risk reward is not that much favorable for creating a long position in CUB.
Okay, let's look at some more stocks that are opening higher in this trade today. EPAC Durable is 5% up in trade right at the open. The company has entered into an agreement with Hisense, a global leader in consumer electronics, to manufacture air conditioners and home appliances in India for the world. And that's pushed up EPAC Durable about 5% higher in trade. The other one is Ola Electric. The firm has given clarifications in response to show cause notice from Central Consumer Protection Authority. The company said that 99.1% of the complaints received from CCPA were resolved, 3% higher for Ola Electric also today. These are some of the stocks that I'm looking at. Let's get in Dharmesh ji into the conversation right there. Dharmesh ji, EPAC Durable, would you have a view? Have you been covering the stock?
Sorry, Sakshi, I have not seen that company fundamentally for a long time.
Okay, and Ola Electric, for instance, with now
Yeah.
some result coming in, do you think it's going to be worst is over?
So I don't know about the worst part, but valuation-wise, it does look attractive at 80, 84 kind of a levels, and that is the zone where I think value buying will again emerge. And this company is more of a on the verge of getting into a good profitability traction on the operating part. So next 1 year is likely to so going by the present run rate at which they are selling bikes and the new launches, which is planned. I do think it can again get a traction to 100, 110 kind of a level over a period of a year. So 83, 80, this is a zone where one can dabble into it.
So, Ambuja Cement has purchased Orient Cement at a market value of 8100 crore rupees versus the present market value of about 7,000 300 crores. We'll keep an eye out on this one. And apart from that, you have a very strong move coming into Swarashtra Cement, 7% higher. We generally don't track this counter, but you need to point out some very smart moves that are coming into the cement space. We track about 33 cement companies for you, and out of 33, at least 22, 23 are in the green. Swarashtra Cement taking it away now, 10% higher. This is, of course, not a company that we look at, but Kunal, you want to step in at Swarashtra Cement. Let me just see what the circuit is today. It's at 130, now at 120. You want to step in?
Yes, definitely, Sailji. Right now, stock is trading at 120, and it is giving a breakout of the sideways momentum. So right now, stock is trading at 120. One can get into the stock at 120 with the strict SL of 107. First target that we can see in the counter is 130 itself, and if stock break this 130, further upside momentum would be there up to the level of 146. So stock is at a good level to get into the stock with 107 as a strict SL.
Okay. Let me just mark more volume buzzers in the market. The Nifty is now above 24,800, 52 points higher. In terms of volume buzzers, it's just City Union Bank, 10% higher. Already 5 times the volume has been traded, 1 crore shares. Ultratech Cement is up 1%, 11,028. Remember, yesterday's earnings were disappointing, but that is how it is. Strength maybe consolidation happening in India Mart, 1% higher at 25.35. Shree Cement, for a change, is amongst volume buzzers. High ticket item 24,667, 1.5% higher. Ditto for Dalmia Bharat. Let's get Dharmesh ji into the conversation. Dharmesh ji, your top pick in this sector that hasn't done anything.
I mean, Dalmia Bharat looks like that, and still, isolated. It has a huge presence in the East India and has been doing well out there, consolidating further into the Odisha belt. So that is one company which I am monitoring closely, but have not still, recommended a buy on this. But going forward, if situation warrants a buy in this sector, then I think Dalmia Bharat should be the top pick out there, where a valuation catch up can happen.
Okay, got it. Well, apart from this, Kunal, give us an understanding, anything in the F&O space that strikes your attention?
Well, right now mostly stocks are trading at lower level, but one stock is there which looks on a weaker side, and that is Bill. Right now, Bill is trading at 2% downside at 242. Stock has also given a breakdown of its 249 level, which was previous quarter. So under current juncture, we can see further downside momentum in the counter up to the level of 222, 228 to 222. So one can go for short in Bill at the present level with the strict SL of 249 for target of 222 to 222.
Okay, got it. Let's again look at the market. It's absolutely flattened out. 0.1% of gains remain on the Nifty. 24,800 is something which it is trading at right now. The IT, consumer durables, FMCG, infra and pharma are the only sectors that are managing with some gains. Rest of the spaces have slipped. The Nifty Bank is now lower. It slipped below 52,000 now. 52,920 is what it is trading at. Private banks, financial services, all down. Even PSU banks, they are down in trade. All constituents are exerting pressure. Ultratech Cement is the top winner right now on the Nifty, 1.5% higher. Titan, Infosys, ICICI Bank, the other heavyweight counters that are stemming the fall in the markets right now. When we look at the top drags, it's Tata Steel, BEL, Bharat Petroleum, Tata Consumer Products again lower, and Bajaj Auto again volatile in trade today. Let's get Dharmesh ji into the conversation. Dharmesh ji, IT sector, what is the kind of outlook would you have? How have you assessed the earnings that have come in so far, and the management guidance going forward?
See, earnings were largely in line. IT this time did not disappoint on the earning part. And as far as guidance is concerned, SCL Tech and Infosys upgraded their lower band of the guidance, and Infosys even upgraded the upper band of the guidance. So those were their two, silver lining out there. But having said that, I'm still skeptical on the entire space because one of the larger player, TCS, came out with a disappointing set of numbers. And it's a mixed bag overall. For Nifty 50, the constituents of IT, if you see, it's about 10.6% INR reported year-on-year growth on the PAT. It was similar to what was in Q1. So no change in stance out there, though a slight positivity, but the valuations at which these companies were sitting on, that triggered a profit taking. Like in Infosys, we saw a huge profit taking happening post, inline set of numbers. That is a trend which is likely to continue more in IT space. I think post US elections are announced, whosoever comes from the presidential seat. And thereafter, it will be more of a strategy will be known and the focus, whether it is China plus one or India or in-house US, or how offshoring and inshore kind of a thing has been strategized. That would be a key element in charting the further high growth trajectory of the IT space. So we are waiting, we are watching it. Few companies have come out with a good set of numbers, like Mastec came out with a good set of numbers. And KPIT is supposed to, as numbers are due. So we are looking at those companies. But as of now, it's more of a wait and watch.
Okay.
So far, ladies and gentlemen, we've had a change in leadership. Orient Cement is now the top traded counter on the National Stock Exchange. So far, 294 crore shares have been traded, 294 crore rupees worth of shares have been traded. And here is a very interesting insight, which is that Shree Cement holds about anywhere between 1.5 1.7% stake in Orient Cement, and therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you see this move on Shree Cement, which is now 1.33% higher. 24,848 was the intraday high. Let us see how it goes beyond that. But for those watching the saga on PNC Infra, it
Yeah.
gets very, very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. There were news reports yesterday on how an organization was into a problem with the NHAI because of some, how should I say, unconfirmed and alleged activities being done by one of PNC Infra's employees. We really don't know what the update is, but the counter is down 6.5% so far, and it's recovered very, very sharply from a low of 299. So this is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. 299 makes it somewhere at 10th November 2023 lows. Such is life. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Absolutely. And on PNC Infra, remember yesterday was when it fell by 20% in trade. Its two subsidiaries were disqualified
Yes.
by the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways on Saturday from participating in any tender process of the ministry as well. The company has been barred from participating in this tender process for 1 year starting October 18. So after that 20% downtick yesterday, in intraday we've seen a 10% fall, and now it's slightly recovered from there. The company has also mentioned that there will be no impact on the ongoing development, construction and O&M activities. The impact on other activities will be evaluated and then intimated to the exchanges too. Anything that you'd like to highlight with respect to PNC Infra, Dharmesh ji?
No, Sakshi, no comments, nothing to be highlighted out there. Let it unfold and let's know what's the actual facts and truths are.
Okay, got it. Okay, Titan has moved to the top spot now, 1.4% higher, 34.11. This is interesting, Dharmesh ji. We're inching closer to the festivities, and gold is at an all-time high, shining brightest ever. Gold jewelry stocks have been in the thick of action. What have you bought? Have you bought physical gold, or have you bought jewelry stocks for your family?
So I wish I had that much money to buy physical, gold. So, but definitely, I mean, it's a custom, the Hindu ritual, something will be done on a Dhanteras day. So
Yeah.
annually, we allocate some fund out there. But Titan is in a sweet spot because of the high prices of gold, and it's still a market leader in the space. The only concerning fact is they also have a watches division and the eyewear division. And if going by the what was been discussed in the GST Council meeting, if that is rolled through, and then some luxury watches, if the prices go high, so some share of Titan would be hit out there because now they are falling into a segment where watches more than 15,000 are also on the offer. So earlier they were restricting themselves to 8 to 10,000 kind of a brand, so they were saved from that business. And given the way gold prices are going up, I think Titan, you will have cyclicals, coming into play, rotating bets, but it's a good buy on any decline.
Let's take Dharmeshji's view on Zomato. One of the most brilliant moves, Dharmeshji, ahead of a rival's IPO, you come out with a QIP even if you don't need money, so that you suck out all possible demand that you can for your rival's IPO. How do you see this QIP going forward by Zomato? And what would be an attractive price point to get back into the counter? We've seen a high of about 310. Now, on its board meet day, we have 267.
Shally, I think this sector itself has hit an inflection point where the path to profitability and operating profits will start rolling in, and there are many factors which has helped them. First is the e-bikes, electric bikes which they have got. Earlier the cost was higher because of the fossil fuel and the diesel fuel which they used to use for the bikes. So the entire structure, operating structure has changed for them. Even if I think the QIP, they will be able to restore, there won't be any problem out there. And Swiggy is also, price. I mean, there won't be a problem. I don't see it. As far as the entry point is concerned, first you have to be convinced on the sector. I per se, I don't like the sector very much, but if somebody likes the sector, do your own due diligence, and then I think 260, 250 is the right attractive price to enter into, and upsides can be higher than 310, the previous high which the company has made.
Okay. All right, Dharmeshji, we will thank you on that note for being with us on this edition and share with us all those details. I wish you all the very best. Season's
Thank you so
greetings
much.
until the time we meet next. Kunal, we'll continue the discussion with you then. Anything from the consumption space that you are betting big on because of the upcoming festive season? What really looks attractive to you? What should investors buy ahead of Diwali?
Well, one stock is there which looks very attractive to me. It's a Titan. Now, I was listening to that question which you asked to Dharmesh ji.
Hmm.
You'll go for hard means physical gold or
Yes.
stock to definitely. I'll go with Titan itself, no doubt. For my wife, I have to go for hard gold, but for myself, I'll go with Titan. Right now, Titan is trading at 3,385. Stock has a strong support at 3,280. One can get into the stock with the strict SL of 3,280. Upper side first target that we can see it's a 3,560 and more above it 3,800 would be there. So Titan looks very attractive for positional, for short term, for medium term, and for long term perspective as well.
Okay, Titan definitely looks positive from the positioner's perspective. Let's again look at some of the other pockets. So, Infosys has now climbed to the top spot on the market, 1.2% higher. That's really leading in the gains that are being contributed on the Nifty. The Nifty is up 30 odd points at 24,810 right now. I also asked IT stocks question with Dharmeshji. Kunal, your top favorite IT stock that you are going with in this current momentum?
Well, one IT stock is there, and it's from mid cap. Stock's name is LTTS. Right now, stock is trading at 5,244. Stock has a strong support of its 100 days moving average as well as previous bottom. One can get into the stock at 5,244 with strict SL of 5,000. Upper side first target that we can say is 5,430, and if stock breaks this 5,430, then further upside would be there up to the level of 5,600. So amongst other LT counters, I think LTTS looks very attractive in terms of risk reward and in terms of technical indicators.
Ladies and gentlemen, 9:34. Uh, so far the Nifty has held. Whether 24,800 will be with the bulls, only time will tell. But let's look at the broader markets and take a detour into indices. We generally don't track. Let's look at the mid cap 100 index today. CG Power is the top gainer in terms of volume buzzers, 3.2% higher. Please keep an eye out on Hindustan Zinc. This is the silver play in India. It's the largest producer of silver metal in the country, and silver is headed towards 1 lakh. That's the reason why you should be looking at Hindustan Zinc. Aurobindo Pharma is 1.35% higher on the mid cap 100 index. Let's look at volume buzzers. Okay. A rare stock that we discuss is TI India. This is Tube Investments, the flagship of the Murugappa Group, 4450, and that's because it's also the holding parent of CG Power. You see 1.4% higher on fairly strong volume, 77,000 shares that are being traded. Ambuja's twin, ACC, is at 2304, about a percent higher, fairly decent volumes. You have about 62,900 shares being traded. Profit booking that's happening in Tata Chemicals. Let's shift focus to the small cap index. Jyoti Labs, the pharma space, a buzz, 3.7% higher, with very, very strong volumes, 2.5 times 5-day average, 8 lakh shares. Let's analyze this share with Kunal. Kunal, any view that you would have on Jyoti Labs?
Well, if you talk about Jyoti Labs right now, stock is trading at 541. Recently, stock took the support of its 100 days moving average. Not only this, stock has also taken the support of its previous bottom. So, stock looks very attractive on a daily chart with technical indicators. One can get into the stock at 538 with strict SL of 505. First target that we can see in the counter is 573, and if stock breaks this 573, then further upside will be there up to the level of 600. So as per the risk reward, this stock looks very attractive. So one can get into the stock with strict SL of 505.
Okay, got that. So that's the view that's coming in. Let's again look at some of the other pockets that are buzzing in trade from the broader markets. Okay, some of the Adani Group stocks are pulling up. You have Adani Energy Solutions, Adani Green Energy, Ambuja we've already discussed. So some of these pockets are buzzing in the broader markets. You also have stocks like Pidilite, Godrej Consumer Products from the consumption basket that are up. Varun Beverages slight up as well in trade. These are the pockets. Let's discuss Varun Beverages with you, Kunal. How are you looking at the stock at this current level? We have actually seen stellar moves, multi-bagger returns on the stock historically. How are you looking at this consolidation really play out? What kind of opportunities do investors get? It's been down 5% this week. Anything that looks positive here? Signs of reversal, 11% down in last 1 month. Do you think it's a good level to take an entry?
Well, the way stock has been trading, I think one should wait and watch as of now because stock has been trading in a consolidation formation, and we won't get any confirmation till it break out this consolidation formations. So yes, for creating a position for short term, I think one should wait. If stock breaks this 612, then only we'll get a confirmation for further upside momentum up to the level of 700. So for short term, one should wait. But for intraday perspective or for 1 to 2 days, I think strong strict SL comes at 572. So one can go for long, creating a long position with strict SL of 572 for an upside target of 597 to 602.
Okay, but what is your favorite FMCG stock right now? Would ITC come on the radar?
Well, if we talk about my favorite, and many stocks are there, means Hindustan Unilever, Marico, Dabur, ITC, but amongst this counter, I think ITC looks very attractive. Now multiple reasons are there. Stock in yesterday's trading session, stock took the support of its 100 days moving average, even stock form hammer shooting star, sorry, hammer candlesticks formation, as well as took the support of its previous bottom as well. So stocks looks very attractive in terms of daily chart analysis. One can go for creating a long position with the strict SO 475. First target that we can see the counter is 500, and if stock breaks this 500, then further upside will be there up to the level of 520. So yes, ITC looks very attractive on a daily chart.
9:40, ladies and gentlemen. The first 20 odd minutes of trade have lapsed, and as I have mentioned, more strength is coming into Jyoti Labs. Very strong volume show. So what you see now is about 3 times the 5-6 day average that we normally calculate, and it's just 940, 5% higher on the counter. Please keep an eye out on this one. Strength continues on City Union Bank. This is the top gainer in the FNO space, up 11%. Very, very strong volume that is coming into City Union Bank. And of course, it's a gap up after you've seen a very strong set of earnings. Anything else that I would like to mark in volume buzzers? No, these are not the stocks that are doing well. How about all-time highs? Okay, let's just look at some names. Orient Cement has slipped into profit booking. Okay, Pilani Investments, the holding company of the Birla Group, is also at a record high, but showing signs of profit booking. Tenwala Chemicals, this is something that I've been marking for a while, but for reasons not known to me at least, the counter is at a record high, 14% higher. And are there any other names that I would like to take on air? No, we will avoid them. A lot of silver ETFs are showing record highs, ladies and gentlemen. Many mutual funds have these silver ETFs. They are doing very, very well. So keep an eye out on this one. And how about all-time low? Any stock that I would like to mark? No, these names are not doing well at all. IRM Energy. This used to be a very, very good stock, but was involved in a controversy some 3 months ago. IRM Energy, 391, 2.5% lower. Please keep an eye out on this one as well. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Well, Shell, City Union Bank is furthering the moves. I think 11% higher is now what it is trading at. What
Yes.
gets attention one more time. And of course, the earnings have been good, and the stock is now further pulling up. It's 12% now as we speak. It at the day's high level at 168.9 odd levels. Kunal, could you look at City Union Bank chart right now and tell us would you advise caution to enter at this point after this 12% surge, or does it still warrant more upside from here?
More upside would be there the way stock is trading on a daily chart. I would not recommending to go for creating a long position, fresh long position at present level, because risk reward is not that much of favorable. But if you have this stock in your portfolio, then hold this stock. Further upside would be there up to the level of 175, and at this level, if stock breaks 175, then one way upside momentum would be there up to the level of 205 as well. So yes, if you have this stock, then hold your position.
Okay, so that's as far as City Union Bank is concerned. We'll continue to touch base on this stock throughout the course of the day as well. Let's look at some more stocks which are in the buzz and thick action. Shriram Finance, could you look at this one as well? The top mover now on the Nifty, and the leadership is consistently changing on the Nifty moves today. Shriram Finance for you now, Kunal, what looks good?
Well, this stock looks very attractive on a daily chart now. Right now, stock is trading at 3,351. If you talk about the full time frame, I think only one signal that I'm getting right now, it's a bullish signal. One can get into the stock at 3,354. with SL of 3,100. The first target that we can see is at 3,500. And at this time, if stock breaks this 3,500, then further upside will be there up to the level of 3,700. So amongst other in finance counters, Sriram looks very attractive.
Right.
9:45, ladies and gentlemen. The first half an hour has lapsed, and on tenterhooks is the entire trading community. The Nifty is now at 73 points higher, 24,856. As good a time as any to look at the contributors of the Nifty on the green side, banks and banks. ICICI Bank today holding the fort. 24 points is what it is contributing to the green. Infosys and Reliance 14 and 10 points respectively. ITC and Bharti Airtel 4 and 9 points respectively. What's pulling the Nifty lower? Well, nothing to be worried about. M&M 4 points in the negative. Kotak Bank 3 points in the negative. Bajaj Auto 1.8 points in the negative. Tata Motors about 1.5 and Maruti 1.2 points in the negative. A view, Kunal, from you on Maruti at current levels, 12,144.
Well, today is the listing for Hyundai, and I think it has some sort of sentiment effect to Maruti and other counters as well. Right now, Maruti is trading at 12,133. If we pull out the daily chart, it has a strong support of its previous bottom, which was placed at 11,800, and even stock from certain hammer candlestick formation as well. So all the equation is telling about the bullish signal only for the counters. One can go for long position at 12,132 with a strict SL of 11,800. First target that we can see in the counter is 12,500, and if stock breaks this 12,500, further upside would be there up to the level of 13,000. So this stock looks very good on a daily time frame.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Hyundai IPO could be looking at a flat listing today. Pre-open trades are indicating a discounted listing of 1.5% at 1931. That's almost 30 rupees lower than the issue price of 1960 rupees per share. It's settled at 1931 on the BSE. That is indicative of a flattish with just a negative bias listing. You can actually see visuals on your screen right from the National Stock Exchange, where the Hyundai team is gearing up for the opening bell ringing ceremony. The caption says, "A Hyundai for every Indian." Of course, it has been the second largest car maker in India, with Shah Rukh Khan at the helm as the brand ambassador that Shail had quizzed me about 2 months ago, when we were first beginning to ask about and discuss about the Hyundai IPO. And of course, it has won a lot of middle class dreams with its first bestseller, Santro, which was definitely one of the top selling cars at that time in India. And of course, it has continued to bring in very interesting competitive models, both in the small car hatchback as well as in the SUV segment. One of the top cars, which is now one of the top sellers in India, is Hyundai Creta as well. Let's also look at some of the other aspects that we will be looking at from Hyundai. There has been a caution that has been spelled by a lot of analysts, especially looking at the valuation. Less money on the table for retail investors is something that we will be looking at. Probably that is one of the reasons why there could be a tepid listing, but we'll have to see. Even after that tepid first take, does it improve from there on? Because it's a long story right there on Hyundai. And of course, there are comparisons being drawn with the largest car maker, Maruti Suzuki. Shail has clearly been the IPO holder of Maruti Suzuki, and from the last 25-30 years on, he's been very, very proud holder of that stock. Shail, what does Hyundai's listing really mean?
I think, Sakshi, this is a game-changing event on the Indian market landscape. So, this is a company that came into India when it was, an emerging market in terms of income levels. And of course, as you mentioned, Santro, it was the first introduction of a tall boy. If you remember, the car was slightly higher, and it came ahead of Wagon R, that is so popular from the Maruti stable, and it just took away market share away from Maruti at that point of time, which was, you will not remember, Sakshi, of course, you were not even born, but at one point of time Maruti held 98% of Indian car market. That has come down dramatically to about 44%, but at the same time Hyundai has matched Maruti in terms of reach. If you remember Maruti ads, they used to show a gypsy which could be serviced in Ladakh, right? It's the reach and the breadth and the depth of Hyundai that is now matching Maruti, and therefore you see almost a similar valuation being given to Hyundai. Yes, there has been a lot of negative publicity about how the entire 27,000 crore rupee OFS was taken away by the Korean parent, but they have also put in money to set up this business, and you have a market value of 82% of Maruti Hyundai now listed in India, and that itself is a very, very big plus. I am sure this will also prompt other Korean chaebols like LG and Samsung to list on Indian markets. And of course, because there was such tepid retail interest, only 2 crores out of 14 crore retail shares were applied for. All the stock has gone into institutional hands, and that's the reason why you see two very strong reports coming in on the long side. Nomura targets 2472 on Hyundai, and it says that it's riding on style and technology. Ongoing premiumization should drive high quality growth, and there is a long runway in the Indian car industry. Despite all the parking problems that all of us face, only 8 people out of 1,000 Indians hold a car, and actually 36 out of 1,000 Indians hold a car, and it's going to rise and rise. I also hope in the same breath that Toyota Kirloskar also gets listed on the Indian markets. That's the only company that's raised prices in sync with inflation and has a waiting period for its vehicles, and therefore that will be a big plus. Macquarie targets 2235 on Hyundai. It starts and initiate with an outperform, and Nomura starts and initiate with a buy. So these are interesting times for Indian markets. Might little bit of profit booking, but then such is life.
Absolutely, but definitely historic day for Hyundai. Its first listing beyond Korea, and that's in the Indian market. So that is something which is important for the company, and for the vision that they hold for India going forward, and the belief that they have in the Indian auto growth story as well. We look at how it pans out within the auto space going forward from here as well, but just about 10 minutes or 7 minutes now before we finally see the bell hitting the gong hitting the bell as well. But let's come back to the markets to see where else, Kunal, are you looking at for value in this current market? Anything that you spotted in the interim?
Well, definitely one stock is there which looks very attractive. It's a Thyrocare. The way stock has been trading on a daily chart, I think further upside momentum would be there. Right now, stock is trading at 899. Stock has given a breakout of its recent top as well. One can get into the stock at 898 with a strict SL of 850. For upside, that first target we can see it's 940, and if stock breaks 940, then further upside would be there up to the level of 1,000. So amongst other counter, I think Thyrocare looks very attractive on a daily chart.
Got that. So that's the view on the key stocks. Let's
Sakshi,
again.
I think
Yes,
Sakshi, I think in terms of Hyundai, a couple of points that also need to be mentioned is that while Maruti is a north-based company, Gurgaon was actually Gurgaon before Maruti set up its huge factory. and then of course it went into a very complex rebranding, and now you have India's premium flats worth 100 crore rupees coming into what is Gurgaon. Hyundai, on the other end, set up its base near Chennai, which is Siriperumbudur, and they started the auto ancillary space in South India. Industry Minister at one point of time, Mr. Murusorali Maran, was responsible for setting up that entire auto ancillary ecosystem down south, and that has again come up as an industrial powerhouse as far as Hyundai is concerned. Lots and lots of newer and better models are likely to be introduced by Hyundai. So this is indeed a red letter day for Indian markets. I believe a lot of Korean media organizations have also landed in India to watch this OFS getting listed, and this is of course also showing the strength of Indian capital markets in terms of absorbing very quietly 27,000 crore rupees of OFS. Sakshi.
Absolutely, and just about 4 minutes from now is when the final listing will happen, and will definitely mark its name in history for Hyundai. We will continue to track how it really moves forward from here. Getting back to the markets, 3 minutes to go. Let's get in Kunal to address what are the spaces that one should be looking at throughout the course of the day today, Kunal, and anything that you believe investors should keep on their radar. Nifty is further improved, 24,845 now, 64 points higher in trade. That's a positive sign, and I think it's the comeback of the banking space that's leading to this move. The Nifty Bank is in the green, financial services and even the private banks are coming back. Your sense?
Well, definitely, if we talk about market, finance sector right now is at a good level. IT sector, pharma sectors are at good level, and we may see further upside momentum as well. The way market has been trading since morning, and few stocks are there which looks very attractive, and amongst that, I think one stock is there. It's a Lalpet Lab. We have already talked about Hyroket, but Lalpet Lab is also looks very good on a daily chart right now. Stock is trading at somewhere around 3,315. And I think one can go for long position at present level with the strike castle of 3,250. Further upside momentum that we can see the counter is 3,430, and if stock breaks this 3,430, then 3,550 as well we can see the counter. So yes, Hyrocan and Lalpet Lab both looks very attractive on a daily chart.
Okay. Right. IT stocks. Let's
9:57, ladies and
focus on
gentlemen.
that. Yes, Shail.
Yeah, please continue, Sakshi. It's okay. Please continue.
So IT stocks is something that I wanted to draw Kunal's attention to. It's the top moving sectoral index as we inch closer to winding up the morning edition. And Tech Mahindra, Wipro, Infi, these are all the three stocks that are contributing to the gains right now. You did talk about LTTS, I believe, as one of your preferred stocks within the mid caps. In large caps, which one would you bet on?
Well, in large cap, I think Infosys looks this particular stock, Infosys looks very attractive. Right now, stock is trading at 1,867. Stock took the support of its previous stock, which was stood at 1,835, and risk reward is in favor of creating a long position only. So one can go for long at with stick castle of 1,830. For an upside momentum up to the level of 1,925, and moreover it up to the level of 2,000. So in large cap, Infosys looks very attractive.
Sakshi, just let's look at stocks like Indraprasth Gas, and we are also waiting for the listing of Hyundai just a couple of seconds away at 10 a.m. It settled 1.5% lower than its IPO price of 1960. Let's see what the markets click it to be in terms of what you are seeing on the screen is the entire management of Hyundai lined up to ring the bell on the National Stock Exchange. This is a very exciting journey after 25-30 years of being in India and being completely held as a... Let's just listen in.
I need you with me on this. You can watch the digital clock on stage, and let's all count down together to mark this historic occasion. 10, 9. Hold on. That was just a teaser, by the way. You're all not paying attention. With me, I love how we're all glued to that clock. Please count me down. 10, 9, 8, come on, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There it is. Hyundai Motor India Limited has
lower,
everybody
and slowly coming back to the IPO price of 1960. I am requesting the PCR to kindly show the price of Hyundai's listing.
because Hyundai Motor India Limited has officially made its debut on the Indian National Stock Exchange. A monumental moment for the company and its stakeholders. Congratulations.
About 1.95% lower, 1922. The first 15-20 minutes of the trade are very, very volatile as far as markets are concerned on the IPO day, and indeed a red letter day at a listing of 1931 on the Bombay Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange. As far as Hyundai is concerned, the offer price was 1960, against which you have 1930 in terms of the offer price. And let's just see how the stock is trading now. Sakshi, anything that you can see on Hyundai?
Yes, 1934 rupees against 1960 rupees per share is what we saw
Yes.
as the listing. A 1.5% discount. Absolutely flat right now. It's inching back now. On the NSE, it's now 1953, 0.3% lower in trade, but it's slowly and gradually being picked up right from the first tick right now. On the BSE, it's currently trading at 940, about 1% lower right now in trade. But looks like we are going to be seeing improved prices from here on. It's been volatile start for the Hyundai IPO right there. Remember, it was the QIB portion that has managed to sail through, and over 2 times of a subscription came in on the last day by afternoon, that the final subscriptions came in, and of course 2 times subscription is what we saw. The retail portion and the NII portion largely stayed out. They were filled up nearly 50% odd, for these portions. Today, flattish listing. On BSE 1931 and on the NSE 1934 rupees is what the listing prices were. We'll see how it pans out for Hyundai on day 1, but we'll also leave you at that, viewers. Now it's time to wind up the morning edition. Thanks a lot, Shail and Kunal, for being with us on this show. 75 points higher on the Nifty, 24,855. We will continue to track Hyundai's story on day 1 for you throughout the course of the day. So stay tuned, and there's a lot more exciting coverage around Diwali and festivities as well that are awaiting you on your screens.
साथियों, आज के दिन मेरे मित्र राकेश झुनझुनवाला जी की याद आना भी बहुत स्वाभाविक है और दुनिया उनकी बहुत चर्चा भी करती है।